What the biggest challenges were in planning?
I think really it was to do with the time management. You know, we made deadlines that we were nowhere near making. It was quite hectic. It took us a scene that we were meant to spend around 20 minutes filming, took us about an hour. So I think we've realised and began to understand how long filming really takes, and I think that'll definitely stick with us in the future and it'll help us.
You think we've got the other thing. So, what were the biggest challenges when planning this piece?
Actually thinking of ideas of what to do. That's why we called it The Undecided. Like, when we was trying to make ideas, we couldn't actually put on we couldn't like focus on an actual idea. So we had like a chase scene, a falling scene, and like a dog walking scene that actually didn't come into the final cut.
Don't panel. Is any other thing?
So, what were the biggest challenges you faced in the production of this?
I'd definitely say the whole management of time, because the amount of instances where we wasted so much time planning and saying, oh, let's do this shot, let's do that shot, and then also, because we ran out of time, we ran out of shooting time, so there was a lot of points during the actual scenes where there seemed to be quite a big jump in between certain cuts, so definitely time management was the biggest thing biggest challenge that we came across. It's not looking at the table.
What were the biggest challenges when planning?
Probably storyboarding. We had quite an extensive scene, so we needed a lot of frames for the storyboards, and no one's particularly good at art in the group, so it was kind of hard to interpret what we were doing on pieces of paper, and we had to do quite a lot of storyboarding, so next time we should probably maybe practice storyboarding a little bit, sort of use more arrows to demonstrate how the scene's going to go. Yeah, I think just storyboarding.
I've never used editing software before, and it was new to me to do.
So Ryan, what were the biggest challenges you encountered when planning?
The biggest challenges have got to be things like time management and the editing. The time management was pretty hard because we didn't actually know how long it was going to take to record and edit, but then in the editing software it was pretty hard to use.
We'll keep that in the edit.
Overall, how do you think the whole piece went in terms of planning and editing?
It went pretty well. Like, all things considered, I would have to like cut scenes out because we didn't have enough time management, and have to like redo some of the scenes because our footage corrupted. So yeah, I think it went alright.
What's happening? What's happening?
How do you think the final edit went? Like, when all the clips were all together?
I actually thought it was alright. Because one of our scenes, the audio got corrupted, basically that messed up the first scene, so we had to redo and do a more ambitious scene, which was a bit depressing that we just had Ryan going, so rad.
Oh yeah, I was so rad, man.
But other than that, I think the final edit was of a good standard for a first product. So overall, how do you think the project went?
I think it went quite well, considering the lack of time we had and the lack of knowledge for me for the editing. I think it would have been better if we had more time, because I could add more clips and editing into it, but because of time, couldn't get any in. What have you learned?
I've learnt a lot of skills with sort of camera shots and camera angles and how they're used in film, and things such as the shot reverse shot and the match on match action. Sort of gone into a lot more detail in how that sort of works and how you use different positions and keeping within the 180-degree rule to keep the realistic effect. So yeah, mainly camera angles.
How do you think it went all together? What do you think our pluses were?
I think as a first attempt, it was fairly decent. I think in terms of editing, obviously we've all got different levels of editing knowledge, and so it was a bit hectic. Also fulfilling the criteria of shot reverse shot, match on match action, in which my edit wasn't there at all. I had to completely re-edit and add on something which really looked unnatural. So I think in terms of next time and what we're going to do just overall, but yeah, I think overall as a first attempt, I think it was good enough. To say that all of our acting is all at different levels. I think we've all got different skill levels in different parts, so some better in sound, some better in editing, some in acting. And I think once we work on who can be the best at certain points, then we can think next time we can have a much more better piece.
Right, let's get back
What
to
you
work.
like.
So, what do you think the key skills are that you have learned?
The key skills, definitely working with a camera. It was really fun to just get a hold of a camera and just play around with it, play around with a tripod, see what sort of shots you can gain, and how that, in terms, change.
We'll get that in. We'll get that in.
No, you won't. I think definitely just playing around with a camera and learning how to use a camera in terms of playing around with a tripod, maybe using a static shot, high shot, low angle, just generally playing around with that was quite fun. And I definitely think that next time we'll also have that experience to not mess around with like different, I don't know where this answer is going. You can just cut the start bit out. I'm really bad at an interview, have you noticed? Like here. So make sure that's like a little bit further over.
I'm looking like you dead in the eye.
How will you improve next time?
I'll improve next time. There's multiple factors: time management, editing, and actually being good at acting. Like the first bit was terrible. Like the first actual bit. You know we should put a chase scene in there. What we should do? I think we should do a chase scene for our media project. I was terrible at acting. I should improve on that. So yeah, just those three things, and then I'll be alright. We'll be all good. What will you do to improve next time?
Well, as I said, I think the main thing was time management, and maybe in my edit anyway, the editing professionalism, I suppose, because I just had like titles flying around everywhere. It looked really dodgy, so I'd improve with that, making it look more realistic and of a more professional standard.
Leading on from that question, what do you think the key skills were? That you
Oh,
learned?
just about everything. I'd say we're at a satisfactory level on most things now. We sort of know what we're doing. I've definitely learned a lot of editing skills with iMovie. I didn't really know that well before, but now I feel relatively comfortable using that, along with knowing what camera angles to use and techniques to use. So we use the 180-degree rule, the shot reverse shot, the match-on-match action. They all come into play, and now we know how to portray them in film and what they mean and how to work. Pan the camera down, pan the camera down. Good lad. Right, pan it along. So just as a overall summary, what key skills do you think you've learned to apply in the future?
I've learned how to use editing software like iMovie and like all the different features of it.
Cut!
How will you improve next time?
Next time, I think the editing's probably quite the biggest issue. None of us are very experienced with the programs or the software, so we just need to practice using the computers and the software and sort of learn some more techniques. Like I learned the stabilizer technique, which helped the scene quite a lot, so we just need to learn more things like that just to make the scene run smoother, basically.